Oh boy, there's no easy way to address this one. So, I am just going to go on a colorful rant here, so buckle up. You may have noticed the affair over in Eastern Europe has started to slowly fall its way out of favor in the news cycle. That is because the Ruskies are winning, and the Americans are trying to save face, which is why Biden threw Zelensky under the bus a while ago, claiming, "Oh, we knew Russia was going to invade. We had all the intel," which means fuck all, by the way. They didn't heed the warnings, etc., etc., and Ukrainian officials are disputing the line of events spewed out by DC, because of course they're trying to save face. Typical politicians, if they do well, then they hoard all the glory. If it goes wrong, then they will blame the faceless bureaucracy. The thing is, there is an element of truth to that, because democracies are shit. The problem is the bloody balance. If you hoard all the glory and never take responsibility when things go tits up, you look like an egomaniacal dickhead. Great look for a leader, by the way. You could do what the previous guy did and back up the egomaniacal dick-headed persona and, do something worthy of showboating said persona. But with Biden, he manages to make the former formula even worse by taking credit for the worst White House performance in over half a century. Hey, I'm looking at this train wreck shit show, and the needle between malice and stupidity is weaving back and forth wildly like a bloody metronome. Now, everyone who could finger the war-blowing bollocks the media was cranking out 24/7 since Russia launched into action knew this was going to be the inevitable outcome. So all the propaganda making the rounds is now starting to go up in smoke to reveal it was just that, propaganda. Russia's artillery is pulverizing forces in Donbass. Now, Ukraine has lost like 10,000 people, anywhere between 40 and 50,000 wounded, and roughly 8,000 captured. They're running out of Soviet-era ammunition for their artillery, and they can't get new arms because of Russia's artillery advantage of anywhere between 15 and 40 to 1. A couple of weeks ago, Henry Kissinger, of all people, came out and said, yeah, you should negotiate with Putin, because further escalating the situation is a no-win scenario. When the supposed war criminal comes out and says you should avoid conflict, you should pay attention. And wasn't it around the same time where Putin, I could be wrong, was trying to negotiate peace, where Zelensky supposedly said, "Oh, I don't need a plane, I need more guns." This isn't an 80s action flick. Who the fuck do you think you are, Arnold? Lopping with your little vest. It's not like you were fighting on the front lines, you bearded fucking Fruit Loop. You were on TV every day begging for money like a cheap slut. And the tragic irony of all of this is, this could have been avoided were it not for the arrogant American presence in Europe. America's own bloody statesman in the 90s at the first sign of NATO expansion when, what the hell are you doing? Russia will consider this a threat, which Putin has reiterated repeatedly. And America, being the fucking assholes that they are, did it anyway. Kept expanding NATO right up to Russia's border, then started dicking around politically, overthrew Ukraine's government, installed the little puppet regime, Biden's family got minted, I'm sure that's just a coincidence. And then they funneled an arsenal of weapons to it. All the while dangling a NATO membership just out of reach, looking at Russia going, and you're looking at this going, America, what the fucking hell are you doing here? Why the hell is the nexus point of your most corrupt politicians all doing here? What threat does Russia pose to your country or its people in any fucking capacity? And you can't ask questions about this. No one in the mainstream media does either. The only one who came even close was Tucker on Fox, asking, why are you being taught to hate Putin? It's a good question. Is he responsible for the woke crap in the schools? No. The inflation? No. The petrol prices? The supply chains? No. Oh, but he's responsible for Trump. What? We know that isn't true. But hypothetically, let's say it was. You mean to tell me you think Putin was responsible for the growing energy sector, the booming economy, the low energy prices, and low unemployment? What the fuck? That's not a market demonization, that's a glowing endorsement. Do you see how incompetent this worldview is? It's no wonder these people are all completely fucking insane. Oh yeah, Putin is attacking democracy and subverting the United States by making it better? How the hell does Russia benefit from a Trump presidency exactly? Give me a single objective measure. No one in the mainstream media has ever asked that question, let alone given a fucking answer to it. It's always some vague wank about democracy, which means bugger all. And you can't look at Putin understandably pissed off and the idiotic Americans and go, can we please have a grown-up conversation about how this situation materialized without someone going, no, you are pro-Putin. Oh, fuck off, you prehistoric imbecile. You look at America's actions, giving Putin the finger repeatedly. America's own diplomat to Russia, admitting, oh yeah, we lie all the time. I am trying to remain neutral here, but looking at the history that brought about the situation, I am being moved towards one side because you keep moving into asshole. You know, someone asked me, why do I pay attention to American politics? This is the reason why. Because America is an incompetent, malevolent actor on the world stage. Ever since the First World fucking War, everywhere you find these bastards outside of their own borders, it's making things worse. If it's not doing stupid shit outside of their borders, they're exporting stupid shit beyond their borders. The Ukraine debacle, case in point, another failure to throw onto the pile over $50 billion fucking dollars later. Why does it seem like we're either governed by the board or for the mentally retarded? Oh, let me read some lines from PJ Media and Asian Times, because this is at least kind of amusing. NATO Secretary Stoltenberg admits that Ukraine will have to give up territory for peace, echoing Henry Kissinger's comments in Davos. The CIA is telling the New York Times that we had better consider the possibility that Russia might win to avoid another intelligence failure. Have we had anything else in the past half century? That's a crock, of course. The US has satellites that can tell what Ukraine's soldiers have for lunch, as well as large numbers of military advisors on the ground. The first sign of a shift to damage control in Washington came June the 8th in a New York Times report by reporter Julian Barnes, quoting US intelligence officials who complained that American intelligence agencies have less information than they would like about Ukraine's operations and possess a far better picture of Russia's military, its planned operations, and its success and failures. That is implausible, but not impossible. The United States has satellite images that reveal every detail of ground action, as well as 150 advisors on the ground as of January. Failure to assess the situation on the ground in Ukraine would imply a stupefying level of incompetence in the American intelligence community, which cannot be excluded. Given the American foreign policy track record, that would be business as fucking usual. We got our heads handed to us, boys and girls. All of our influencers and opinion makers and politicians, all of our high-tech weapons can't dislodge a second-rate power like Russia. We turned NATO into a social welfare organization with nothing larger than a battalion to oppose Russia. The French army has about a week's worth of ammunition, the Germans barely have 100 operational tanks, and we have nothing to deploy. If the formula that Henry Kissinger and Stoltenberg propose returns to the Western agenda, the warring parties will in effect return to something like the Minsk II framework, which the United States sabotaged in the advent of the present war. A peace agreement is deeply to be desired, but the character of any possible peace will make it clear that the war was unnecessary to begin with. So if you're thinking, did America just cause thousands of people to be needlessly killed, many more wounded this large from their homes, pissed away over $50 billion and destabilized the world economy, and is now once again refusing to admit any wrongdoing? Yep. Where's the pen thinner?